Give me a count there.
127 million.
Again?
1,702.
Perfect. 221212. We're rolling, Jackie.
Huh? Where is it? Is it recording?
Yeah. You can cut this out though. So
No,
keep
actually,
talking.
I might leave this in because. This week's episode of the A to B podcast is a little bit different. Not only is it the season finale, but it's also the first time I'm joined by not one, but two guests. This week I'm joined by Jay Woodard and Muriel Foley from the Content is King podcast. Jay and Muriel are both masters in their own respective fields, but have two completely different A to B journeys.
Nice. That was a good intro.
Hello, folks.
That
I'll
was
take
a good
that
intro.
intro.
Thanks very much. I'll
Season's
take it.
finale as well.
I know. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I know,
Thank you
right?
for having us.
Yeah, well
Pretty
done.
fancy.
You've made it to your season finale.
I know, right?
What a way to finish.
I know.
Yeah, I guess it's
On top with exceptional ones.
yeah, recording in an actual studio as well, so it's a lot better than my bedroom.
Yay.
Usually I interview people and get all my clothes and just throw them off my chair onto my bed and I sit down and I'm like, well, that's cracking.
Yeah, we were like, go. We were recording our
Oh, yeah,
podcast
30
before this. We're like, go.
Yeah, unreal. How are we keeping, folks?
Good, busy.
Yeah.
Trey busy coming to Christmas.
Trey busy.
That's French for you, if
Yeah.
anyone knows.
That is
That's
right.
You more than me. I'm planning for early January. You're in the trenches.
I'm in the trenches right now, yeah, but we're getting there. I'm literally like looking forward to taking a couple of weeks off because it's been just a hectic year work-wise.
Yeah,
so.
we announced that we're taking a break on the podcast
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something.
Are you going to like do kind of like a season thing or are you just going to start back again or what's your plan with
I
that?
think start back again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just because,
Better roll.
yeah, people want to hear us weekly. I think.
Yeah.
Like our fans do, as bad as that cringe as that sounds.
That all sounded cringy.
Yeah,
People want to hear us every
sure,
week.
look, they
Our fans do.
But while we do have fans, it's weird. We have Americans commenting on us and
I know, I
texting
love
us
it
and
though,
saying,
I
"Oh,
love
like
it.
it's cool." Like
Yeah.
Quiet. That's so cool.
we went viral on TikTok one night, and we had like 4,000 followers overnight,
Yeah, it was
and
good.
they're quite interactive, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Fair
Fun.
play. I've been meaning to go on to different like channels. I think Instagram.
There's no meaning, Jack. Just do it.
Yeah.
There's no meaning to it.
There's doing it right, but with college in and final year, I'm thinking hopefully over Christmas I'm going to like bring all the episodes and just put them on YouTube. Just I don't know if it's SEO or something, but I'm going to put it
do
on
that.
YouTube to have another thing there, you know. And I'm going to do like new thumbnails as well, so like it looks like really like different or whatever. But I will say like audio only in the description or like in the actual video title as well. But like I know like when I was doing like research for Gym Plus Coffee or whatever for recent projects, I'd look up YouTube. So my thinking is if someone looks up like Sandbox, you know, like people I've had on so far, if people look up Content is King on YouTube, you know, that like mine might come up with like the thumbnail and they're like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to brainstorm stuff at the moment, but yeah, I think I'm looking forward to just.
You have to pay Muriel now if you want her advice because she's a consultant. So.
Okay, I owe
My
you too,
lips
man.
are sealed.
I owe you
Like,
enough,
yeah,
Jay.
well, you know, I have to pay us.
That's a good point there, Jack.
No, I want to get it done with now and just focus on exams because I've definitely neglected college too much this semester for the podcast.
It's worth it.
Well,
It's worth it. Just don't post any pictures on LinkedIn if you're graduating.
let's not go there.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of podcast.
Well, look, I suppose let's get into. Let's go back a bit, okay? I think my dates are all over the place here. I'm giving you years and you're giving me different ones. So I'm just going to ask, when did you guys do your leaving certs?
It was 2007 for me because I was 17.
I was 16. No, I wasn't. It's a lie. I was 17. I had to repeat. I was 16. I had to repeat.
You did your leaving cert?
Yeah, I failed math.
Maths.
Maths.
Math.
But then halfway through the year, I dropped out again and just did the maths exam at the end. So I don't know. I came to college in Cork in 2008.
Yeah.
Give or take that job.
Okay.
I went to Dublin before that for 2 years.
What did you do in Dublin?
I was a VIP broker, insurance broker for AXA.
How did you manage that?
Who knows? But I did. I just wrangled it and got in. And because not VIPs, like I wouldn't be talking to the McGregors of the world. It was like high end. If a guy had a fleet and had like 70 vehicles, they're VIP customers, you know. So yeah, it's a gift to the gab. Really, tried to sell insurance. I hated it. Put on about easy 7 stone.
Jesus.
Stop.
Yeah, I was 25 stone Dublin. Yeah, I used to. Yeah, it was crazy.
Was it stress?
7 to 7.
Oh.
Dublin. So you'd leave your apartment at 7 in the morning, you're in the bus for 2 hours in traffic, get to work, high stress till 5, back onto the bus for 2 hours. And
Yeah, no thanks.
gross. 790 a week I was on, which isn't bad.
It's pretty class.
For, I mean, your first job,
Yeah.
out of leaving
Well,
cert.
no, I was like a bartender and shit for that. before all that and stuff.
So what made you come back to Cork?
Filmmaking.
Filmmaking.
Yeah, I went through filmmaking college.
Okay, so then you started in St. John's then?
Yeah, did the film course in St. John's.
Yeah, so while you were in St. John's, you would have just gone into UCC around that point.
Yeah, I started college in 2007 in UCC. I did arts.
Yeah, and
So
Oh, you're such an arts head.
I did arts because I wanted to become a primary school teacher.
Really?
I've always wanted to be a primary teacher.
What's hilarious with this podcast is we're going to find out more about each other than we've ever known because we don't talk about anything else.
No, we don't. Yeah, I didn't apply for Muriel because I wanted to stay in Cork to be around my friends, and I was like, I'll just do the 1.5 course in Muriel after arts. So I did. I have a degree in English and politics from UCC.
Pretty cool. And did you have like an interest in that? Did you kind of, we'll say, like politics? Had you any interest in going into government maybe? Or?
I actually didn't think I'd like politics as much. I ended up loving it, and I was potentially going to pursue it. And then but I still wanted to be a primary teacher, so I continued on that journey to be a primary teacher, and I got rejected.
Did you?
Yeah.
But look, you know, you're teaching everyone.
I know. But no, I applied for the Mary course, and I studied. I took a year out. I was volunteering in Kenya twice in Mombasa, and then I studied Irish at home. I did a child psychology course, went into Mary. I didn't realise how competitive that additional HDIP course was, or postgrad course was. Messed up the Irish interview and ended up crying during the interview.
Really?
And
During the interview?
During the Irish interview, yeah. And
did you cry off Gaeilge?
Hey! I was so prepared, and then it threw me whatever question was asked, and I just froze and I cried, and then I left there. I need to pay to apply for this, like totally messed it up, got rejected, went for Hibernia. Irish interview again, they asked me the Mochanilach, which is a really hard tense in Irish. Messed that up again. Didn't cry though, but got rejected, and had to swiftly make up my mind to do a master's before I went off to Kenya again. And basically typed everything I wanted to do into Google and put master's in Cork at the end, and thus the master's was born that I did.
That's pretty cool.
Is there a picture somewhere lurking of you like in a Cork jersey in Kenya with some children somewhere or something?
I definitely didn't wear a Cork jersey, but there's a lot of photos of me just like having the crack, yeah.
I can see you wearing the gag ear like, hey.
No, all right. I wasn't that Irish person. But no, I basically had to do a career change in a matter of probably 20 days.
Great.
Jesus.
So we'll say like that the arts was the 3-year course. In those 3 years, moving back to Jay, A-Click Productions came about.
It did. Jesus, you went back there.
Yeah. So what was
it? Was my first. So it was my video.
You obviously picked up some skills in St. John's.
Yeah, and then I was solo doing promo videos and stuff, and then guys from college approached me. They were my friends as well, and they said, "Look, let's start a film company." So A-Click Productions, like a clique of people. So A-Click Productions or A-Click Productions. Yeah, we made kind of action comedies mainly. Nice. And the pinnacle was I made a Western in Cork and RTE bought it.
Wow.
So that's the pinnacle of that story of A-Click. Yeah, it was good fun, and they showed it on air and stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then I suppose it's weird doing two people now at the same time.
So many,
it's fine. We're used to kind of chatting to each other.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah. So it's 2012. Then you go into your masters.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jason Woodard or JW Films happens.
So JW Films is always in the background of A-Click as well.
Okay,
that was just
so you were doing your own side gig and stuff. Yeah.
Just like literally, if you go 2012, 2015, any club promo or bar promo in the city was me.
Yeah. And
anything you saw, Bodega Bangs, Voodoo Rooms, all these different things, that was all on me. Sober Lane. So that's my background of video production and stuff.
Yeah, so while Muriel would have been in college going out to nightclubs,
I was shooting Muriel in the nightclub.
Yeah. So that's the camera guy,
I wasn't
Jay.
in the nightclubs at the weekend. I was working hard in Tesco. Yep.
Nice.
5 years.
In Tesco's? Loyal.
I worked my way through college.
My brother did too.
Yeah.
I worked my way through college as well, just saying.
No, it's good because...
We're hustlers right here.
Come here.
Yeah, so like 2012, JW Films comes up, and I have here Muriel leaves Tesco. So 2 huge career points for them, both of you.
Muriel, that sounds like a book for a child. Muriel leaves Tesco.
Yeah, so I suppose you started in your masters, which is interesting because you got like kind of a PR consultant's role with CIT.
With CIT, yeah.
Yeah, so like how did that come about? Because I'm in CIT 4 years now, and I've got approached for nothing.
Yeah, so...
What's that tell you, Jack?
Hey.
Such
I'm
an
the host. You might be in the chair, all right? But I'm still the host, okay?
I just, you know what, I left my job in Tesco, and I just needed to just get out of there the minute I finished my masters, because I was like, I don't want to get too comfortable here. I need to like move on and progress and actually work in what I studied. So I stayed really good friends with my lecturers, and I was like, look, keep your like ear to the ground. That is a saying, yeah. I was like, just let me know if you hear of anything. And then the Department of Engineering, there was a guy there who just needed some help to promote the biomed courses and a couple of other courses in their department. So he was like, if you can do some work with me. And I was like, absolutely. So helped like promote their courses and promote like their Zero 2020 energy building, you know, that one in CIT at the site.
I actually had to do a project on it recently.
Yeah, so I was there, and it was like basically just skull and bones, and just like trying to get a bit of footage and stuff of like all of that. And I did that then it was a 6-month contract.
Okay.
So yeah, but it was like it was a lovely job to have.
Yes, you started out pretty early as a consultant.
Yeah, I was like
in that consultant role, like
yeah, I was literally like fresh. I was 22.
I will say, like, kind of like as a decision as a student, you know, with the hours you'd have been doing at Tesco, did you take like we'll say a pay cut to be able to move into doing something a bit more PR related with college? We'll say comfortable.
Well,
like you knew like what you're doing in Tesco, grand. Like, you know, financially, like, did you make that decision to go into your industry? You know,
honestly, like the job I got in CIT, to be fair, paid quite well, but I would have taken a pay cut, because like working in retail is like a steady income, and a lot of students work in retail before they get their like career, right? And like they're like the wages are really good. Like the wages are good in like most retail places now, and like they're like, well, if I take an internship for example, I'm not getting paid for that, and like it means I'm going from paid work to not paid work. But I was willing to take a cut if needs be to actually just get my foot in the door and just like start working my way up the ladder. So I would have. I don't think I did though.
Okay.
But CIT paid pretty well, I must say.
Cha-ching.
That's obviously a 1 year's master's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is again jumping back to Jay. While that was going on, you would have been JW Films on the side, but also with Omniplex.
Oh yeah, Omniplex for life.
Yeah.
Kid.
So you're.
I was supervising Omniplex for 5 years, 6 years. So this was my side hustle. Was the filmmaking, or the videos were side hustle. Retail again, but I love movies, so it was the perfect job.
Yeah.
For filmmaker, free movies, popcorn.
Pretty great.
Yeah, pretty epic. And then
did you ever get to like hook up your own stuff to the screens in there?
We could have. There was one or two guys that did. I never did it because I just never saw the point. They brought PlayStation and Xbox, and I was like, what's the point?
That's what I do. Just bring a PlayStation.
So yeah, some guys did. Like they did. Yeah, some guys did that, alright. And just doing videos on the side, and then I kind of again doing videos and chatting to people and musicians and friends and all that stuff. Got me in a drinking circle with Ken Parrott, who's with 96 FM. And Ken one night said, "Oh, you do videos, we need a Christmas video done." And then that jumps into my other career then. Yeah. That was the bones at the start of marketing for me.
Yeah, which is interesting though, because, I mean, during your time with Omniplex, I mean, fair enough, the 2 years in Dublin where you noticed the trend, but then Omniplex also came about at the time where you recognised the gap.
Yeah, there was... Do you remember the Haagen-Dazs store?
Yeah.
In Omniplex,
yeah,
and so they were swapped. If you're listed in Cork, there used to be a Haagen-Dazs shop in the Omniplex, and whatever happened, they lost the contract for Haagen-Dazs, and they came to the staff and said, "Look, what do you think we should do there?" And I said, "You should do hot donuts," and everyone laughed and they kind of ignored me. And I was like, "Lads, it's going to happen!" And then 4 years later, fucking Huckleberrys happened.
So then, 2015. You got the marketing executive role with 96 FM.
Yeah, so I did a few videos for them, and they said, "We're looking for a digital marketing guy." I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." Literally didn't. I kind of knew social media. I was a big fan of social media for my other stuff, for the videos and all that kind of stuff, and I managed some of the profiles, like the Brogue here and there, and Voodoo. Like, I just did work for them on social.
Did you ever do the Bowery?
Where was the Bowery? The Bowery? No, I didn't.
No. Because you did the Bowery.
I sure did.
Did
you? That was your competition.
Not at all.
Yeah. I did that.
How did that come about? Because
where's the Bowery again? That was where
Tucky
Mason is now, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mason was the Slate.
Yeah.
Because you did McCarthy's in the Loft as well, which would be the student bar essentially for CIT, non-official.
Oh, that was
official.
some crack doing marketing for them. Yeah. So I was like, I finished up in CIT. It was only a 6-month contract. To be fair, it started at 3. They extended to 6, and they were like, it's a seasonal role. Like, we can't keep you on. I was like, that's fine. got a job then in McCarthy's bar, which is now called the Model Farm. And McCarthy's was like kind of I would say middle of the road in terms of like who'd go there, if that makes sense. So it wasn't like super posh, but it wasn't like anyone could go in kind of a thing. So it was kind of like fancy-ish.
They kind of hide the students upstairs.
Yeah,
basically.
and then upstairs it had the Loft, which was a student bar. So I was doing marketing for both. So I was basically like, have your christening and enjoy your 60th party. And then I was like, wet t-shirt competition. Like I literally had like one night where I did like a wet t-shirt competition during a foam party. I shaved 10 lads' heads and it was like absolute anarchy. And I was also the photographer because we had no budget. And I just was like, I was like shaving like heads one minute, putting water on like and it totally goes against what I stand for now, but like back in the day I was like pouring water over girls' t-shirts and I was like shift and like literally falling all over the place, blind by the foam, and taking photos and marketing upstairs. And then downstairs I was like, hello, thank you for booking with McCarthy's bar. Like, it was so weird.
Brilliant.
But I loved it. It was anarchy, like absolute chaos. Yeah. So while I worked in media manager then, and I managed about 30 or 40 social media accounts for them in Cork City. So lots. That was a very, very busy time. At the same time, I was marketing, so the same owners of media manager as there was for the Bowery, the Slate, and which is now Mason, and Deep South.
And are media managers still around?
They're working on in-house projects, so they're not actually a public
I couldn't find them
anymore.
I did my little research.
So they're I think they went in-house to do like work for the bars and stuff that their company owns. So they're not actually like a company that you can ring up and be like, can you do my social media anymore? They're in-house
production company basically.
Exactly. So I worked with them for about a year and a half, I think. And I worked on like 4-Star Pizza, Audi Cork, like a lot of local
it's good names.
Local ones, yeah.
Kind of first full-time job after college, so after
I had 4 phones because Deep South was launching and I had to like work on that marketing as well. So.
Were you doing Door 51 before it closed? No. I
was like a baby.
No, Door 51 was like just before Deep South.
Oh yeah, no.
I used to go to Door 51 for karaoke nights.
I've always thought if I like worked at an agency, would they give me like a company phone if I had like 20 social? Because I have like 4 accounts on my phone right now at the moment, and like I've often put like podcast stuff on my own page, which is grand, but even before I've shared like wedding date stories to my own personal story, so people will have a look at like Jack P. Foley's Instagram account and my story is like top 17 wedding veils this season, and the lads are like, what? Oh, you're right, Jack. I'm like, yeah, it's grand there now, don't be worrying about that.
Well, imagine having like 40 accounts. I literally worked day and night, and I was working at night in the Bowery as like the hostess. So for student nights, when we had OTT at the Bowery, the student nights, and then we had the weekends, I did not sleep.
And I know some of the lads who run those places. There's no kind of off switch with them either, so it's hard for you to switch off if they're not switched off.
I never did.
No,
never. But I, do you know what? I learned so much. I hustled hard, but I learned like my skin was like thick when I got out of there, because like working in a nightclub as well as the hostess, you get a lot of shit.
Yeah, of course.
Would you say a lot of what you do now would you owe a lot of more of it to the masters you did, or to the actual experience that you took on afterwards? And even during your masters, like all that extra work that you did, like, you know, putting yourself under so much pressure and gaining so much experience, like what you do now on a day-to-day basis, like would you say that was your 3 years of arts contributes to it, your 1 year masters, or basically more so the industry work you've picked up along the way?
It's a combination of everything. Like I got my first job when I was 11 in a restaurant, in a really stressful restaurant. That's not on my LinkedIn. But like working in a restaurant, working in retail, going to college, working in that industry, dealing with like C-levels, like C-suite, massive CFOs, like CEOs in Canada, in Toronto, where they're like literally over massive, massive brands, and you're like talking to these people, like everything I know now is from life experience and work experience. Like you know how to deal with people. It's like if you go to a restaurant, like I deal with servers so different. I have so much patience for them because I've been in their shoes. So I treat a lot of what I do now like that, where it's like, I understand your industry. I've been in your shoes before. I know that you're under pressure, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so. I think you can really tell someone when you serve them that they've never like worked in retail or have never worked in hospitality before with the way they treat you. It's just like, oof.
I we're very like, I've never really restored. I started my first job when I was 13. I was serving pints in Kate Kearney's cottage. Just in that world again. But, like, you tell me these days a 13-year-old goes serving pints.
Oh, I had to
That
pretend
would
I was 15
never
to
work.
anybody who came in.
Yeah,
to the,
same. I was
to
like,
the
you're 16.
restaurant.
I was like, I don't look 16.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi.
Sorry, that's just my retainer.
Yeah, so you would have been with 96 FM, and your kind of main thing was video for them, kind of going to different events, or
No. So 96 had kind of contracted me out. I was a freelancer with them, and then they said, look, we want a digital marketing executive. And then I took over everything. So I took over all marketing, all digital, all that kind of stuff. So I was sitting in all the, like literally my first, I started on Monday. The Tuesday was a head of, a head op, or whatever. All the heads of operations had a meeting, and I was in that meeting, and I was like, do you know what I mean? Like, so it was like the head of finance, the CEO, the head of promotions, the head of like all this kind of stuff. I was like,
imposter syndrome almost.
oh, come here. That's a whole other podcast, imposter syndrome. But
and it's weird because like primarily your skills would have been in filmmaking, you know, camera and production, you know, video production, and now you're like marketing executive, digital marketing executive. Hello, digital marketing executive. So, like, what were your responsibilities on a day-to-day basis? Like, what were you in charge of?
Content creation, all social medias, planning shoots, talking to the street fleet, what they're doing today, where they're going, what to put on social medias. Don't cover this, cover this. Then you'd have sales coming over saying, what are you putting on social? I have one of my clients wants to do a social campaign with us. And I'm like, that doesn't suit us. Like, so you're dealing with sales teams who aren't happy because you're not giving them something, or you're giving one person too much. Like, it's all politics in that game. It's all bureaucracy, but like, you learn so fast. Like, that's when you're under that kind of pressure, you have to learn. Like, then you have Dublin calling because they were under a big umbrella of.
No way.
Yeah. Now Rupert Murdoch owns them. The guy who owns the Sun owns them. 96 FM now.
Jeez.
But they were under, I can't remember, Urban Media or something they were called, or something. I can't remember what it's called. So they're FM 104 in Dublin and all this stuff. So they were sending out templates saying, hey guys, why haven't you used that? It's like, because it's a Dublin accent. No one wants to hear a Dublin accent on Cork Radio, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
all that kind of thrills and spills and the joys of it all.
Okay, it's great. It's crazy. Like, you would have been given like charge to social media because, in fairness, before then you'd no experience in social really.
Well, I tipped away to kind of just knowing my kind of stuff, and they're like, oh, do you know this?
Yeah.
But then that's when I was literally on YouTube. I was researching every night campaigns, looking at old kind of stuff, all that kind of how to do this, how to like.
You learn quickly.
So quickly. Like, I was literally one Google ahead of them at the time, probably learning that kind of way, and just.
Yeah.
I hate saying it, but fake it till I make it kind of thing. But it kind of worked out that I was just like, you can ask my wife Jules. Like, I get home, have dinner with her, and then I was 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock down in my office researching and doing other stuff, and then the donuts happened after that, and then I was researching them till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and I suppose because Huckleberrys would have been, and I can't wait to get this year wrong now as well, but 2016, thank God. But before 2016 comes about, you made the move to Canada, Toronto. So where does that decision come from? Where, you know, that's it, I'm just going to leave, I'm going to head over. Did you go with friends, or did you just want that kind of scenery change? What led to that?
Like, I had kind of an arrangement with my master's class. I kept, like, a few of the girls in the master's class, we were like, a couple of years later, we were like, will we just like go to Canada or just do something? And I was late applying for my visa, and I never did.
The graduate one?
Just the normal 2-year visa for Canada. I was late applying for it, and like, back then it was like the visas are out at 9 o'clock in the morning or like something like that, and you're online. It's like Ticketmaster when there's like a festival and you're like in a queue and you're like, refresh, go. So it's like, it was like that, and I missed it and I didn't get it, and it was always on my mind. And then that year I just decided, look, I'm just going to bite the bullet, go over there and get work experience. I picked Toronto because I was like, I don't want to go to Australia because I'll just end up working in something not related to digital and just have fun. Or I don't want to do a J1, don't really want to go interrailing. Like, I'd done the volunteering thing, would love to go back there all of the time, but like, I need to like do something for my career. So that's why I picked Toronto, because I was like, Toronto was like the place to be for digital, loads of big brands there, go for it. And absolutely loved it. Like, learned my lesson when I got there first, though, because I went there with a little bit of an ego, because I was like, sure, I'm after managing all of these accounts. I'm still really young. I've accomplished so much. Brands are going to be like, yeah, let's work with you. And it took me a good few months to get any job over there.
Oh, really?
Like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
Like, I went over there being like, it'll be grand.
Some gut check.
Like my money, like I'd saved a lot of money, and it was just like literally going, and I was like, I need to get a job. But yeah, kind of worked a couple of jobs over there and then landed on my feet with iProspect, the global agency.
How did you start that eventually? Was it through like networking, or did you just apply, or?
So recruiters in Toronto are very like, they're on it, right? So like I was in another job at the time, and then I had a request from a recruiter who was like, look, we're looking for a paid media analyst. Do you want to like apply? And I did. And so it's very poachy over there, as opposed to like, once I was in a job, I was like, I'm grand, I'll stay here now for a while. But then I got this offer, and I was like, I looked at all of their brands like Adidas, Coca-Cola, Reebok, Home Depot, Diageo, Aldo, Air Transat. I was like, yes, I want to work with you. So it was a no-brainer. And then I was there for like the rest of my time in Canada.
And had you experience with paid social media advertising at the time?
Yeah.
Because like when I see paid analyst, that to me is just like I'm like, whoa, it sounds like a threatening job title.
But literally all I did was paid social. Like all I did was paid media in that role. Like it was all execution. So it was like when I started as a paid media analyst, it was Google Ads, programmatic and paid social. And then I carved out a paid social lead role, pitched it to the CFO of the company, and was like, I see a gap here. You don't have a product lead for paid social. Let me do it. I'll manage your partnerships in Canada with Pinterest and Facebook and like Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter. And nice. So I was the partner manager for paid social for our iProspect company in Canada across Montreal and Toronto.
And when you pitched that, what would the CFO get out of that?
I was basically like, this is what you're missing and this is the value that I can bring. So I was like, if you bring me in on pitches, then I'll have had meetings with all of these people. Like weekly, not weekly, but like bi-weekly, I'd be in Facebook, or I'd be over with Pinterest, or I'd be sitting down in Snapchat.
Essentially a partnership manager.
Yeah. But I'd work with all of their agency partners. Okay. So I'd work with like, they'd be like, look, this is coming up for holiday season. And then I'd bring that training to my teams in both Toronto and Montreal. So I'd be like, this is what I learned, or this is what's coming up. This is what I got from Snap. Like we launched Adidas Canada's first Snapchat campaign, like as a group, because I was like, what are we going to do here? We'll do this, blah, blah, blah. So all of those learnings, like I'd have weekly trainings with the teams and just keep them on track with paid social. But then all of the account leads would come to me for their strategy. So they'd be like, okay, I need to manage my team and I need to manage the account, but I've nothing like innovative to bring. So I would go like to them, like with them to their meetings. But I had my own accounts as well that I'd managed paid social for, but it was all like paid social. Like the actual organic content creation was from another team. And like we'd give creative direction for paid, but it would be very much like we would like do all performance based work.
Would you decide the budgets, or were you given the budgets?
I'd be asked all the time for budgets, but it was like you're working with like 100 grand or $1 million or whatever. Like it was
crazy.
I think the least I spent on a campaign was 10 grand, and everything else was like we did a test with Home Depot with Waze. You know, it's like the US
traffic app.
Yeah, it's like a traffic management app, and it didn't do well because Waze, like not many people use it, but it was like a pop-up ads while people were driving.
Yeah,
and it failed, but it was like 100 grand, and they were like, oh, sure, we learned.
Jesus.
Okay, give me 100 grand. I will ring a bell down the street of Toronto for a full week and shout Home Depot, Home Depot. But
this is expendable, like.
Yeah, but it was all like an incredible experience, like completely invaluable.
That's great.
Compared to me, I was testing donuts this time. I was like, yeah,
literally. So then
you're experienced.
Back to Cork. Then you're working on essentially. What was it from the start before you had the idea for Huckleberrys? Were you kind of?
I was in 96, still tipping away.
Yeah, was it when you were thinking of the name? Like, was it always the first going to be Huckleberrys? Or
no, it wasn't. There were several different names. One of my favourite films, and it's all related to my entire family, and everything is Tombstone. Wyatt Earp is the main cowboy in it. My son's name is Wyatt. Doc Holliday was his best friend. Doc Holliday's saying was, "I'm your Huckleberry."
Okay,
that's Doc Holliday. My arm tattooed.
No way.
So like. That's where it came from. I have a group, 4 lads, 3 or 4 of us. They're my concentration group. I say like this, and they're like, "No, it doesn't work." Or, "Yes, it doesn't." So, and then Mike was like, "Why don't you call it Huckleberrys?" I was like, "Class,
brilliant,
works." And then I designed up the logo and stuff, and it just clicked and worked. And I'll never give him credit for it. I always say I came up with the name myself and stuff. But
modest.
yeah, and then the whole thing kicked off.
Okay, so did you stick with kind of 96 FM and have Huckleberrys on the side, or did you
God,
say
no.
you said you went
no,
100% in? Like,
Yeah, I'm all in. I handed my notice in on the Friday, and the Monday Jules told me she was pregnant, and I had 4 weeks to open the doors of Huckleberrys.
Nice.
So we were full throttle. I had €8,000 in my bank account to get the place open. So yeah, full throttle, and just started little campaigns, little kind of stuff, putting stuff out there. Because obviously we had a good build up and a good buzz. Because people were like, what, a donut shop's going to a proper donut shop, and just from the get go, I think my first post was donuts are healthier than crystal meth.
Yeah.
Kind of, do you know what I mean? Like that was
and who at the time were you pulling inspiration from in terms of that kind of?
A lot actually from Ernest, that Sober Lane vibe, just tongue in cheek.
Nice.
Just edgy. I was looking at that kind of stuff. No one was being ballsy or kind of rude or like. So I said, let's jump on that kind of wagon, you know.
Of course. And that like didn't always go smooth sailing for you.
No, it did not.
No.
Are you talking about the injection? Is it?
Talking about the injection.
Talking about this. Yeah, the injection was fun. There was an injection full of caramel in a donut with white chocolate and stuff, and it was. Someone said, geez, I'll give you diabetes, and I was like, well, let's call it the type 2 because it's when you give yourself. And then we put it out there. We talked to us on our podcast, and we got massive throwback, and people weren't happy. And it was a PR lesson learned fast.
Yeah,
I turned that around, and I turned it around within 24 hours. I had everyone who's messaging me and hating me praising us because I took all the earnings of that donut that day and donated to Diabetes Ireland and put it across the socials. Like, oh, well done, fair play and stuff. So
yeah. You cleaned it up fairly quickly.
You have to react. You have to.
It's interesting because you kind of, in fairness, like your brand and you as a person blew up like because of Huckleberrys. Like you became just known as, what were you, the Donut King, the Donut guy? There's so many names going around.
Yeah.
You really kind of like you got your footing in the industry because of that.
Yeah, and so that was the main thing. I was a big Gary Vee fan. Hey. And I always focused on personal branding the whole time while I was building this because I always knew I could jump if I had to or whatever it was. And that's what I was trying to do with Huckleberrys. I was trying to build a brand where it was more than donuts. It was a kind of idea of, and like if we need to go to fried chicken, we could have if we had to. I mean, but push comes to shove and money made that, you know, whatever happened. But yeah, with the vlogs and everything, we built a personal brand, and today I'm still living off that personal brand because of what we did and stuff, you know. That's
cool. And kind of Snapchat would have been your like main go-to at the very, very start.
At the start, a lot of our campaigns were Snapchat.
When did you notice that was kind of like getting old, and when did you decide? Because
it was like with Hooks, it was never old. With Snapchat, it was always tip away. Just Insta kind of took over. Like, you know, when Insta properly blew up, that's when I was like, we need to be full. Like, we need to lean into Insta, and then Snapchat gets the remnants of it because the audience in Snapchat went so young. And my kind of audience went to Instagram. Like, when that happened, when Instagram properly blew up, the audience split, didn't it? You had the older people on, and then kind of some people stayed on Snapchat, but it was really young on Snapchat. So we put out a picture of me, and there'd be like people commenting, "Hey, can I have a free donut?" Like, you can tell they're 10. So we just kind of stopped talking. Like, as bad as you're not going to be talking to these kids, like, but
yeah, no, that's
yeah, so you just have to you have to roll with it and see.
So I think I came to Cork I genuinely don't even know if it was 2017 or 2018 for college, and like Instagram is where I would have followed Huckleberrys. Like, I never added it on Snapchat. It was always just Instagram. And it's interesting because we actually had you come in for a talk in first year about franchising. I'm not too sure who even had set it up.
I don't remember that. I don't think.
Really, it was Ian Cronin. He was with, I think it was like the Business and Entrepreneur Society in CIT. I don't think they exist anymore.
Was that the one with Ernest and Musgraves?
No, it was just yourself.
Shit, I don't remember that at all.
I remember I was in first year. It was like 2-3 months in, and I basically had said to like a lot of my friends, "Oh, there's gonna be like a marketing talk in. It was like the donut guy's in. He's gonna be giving a talk about franchising stuff. Do you want to go?" And everyone was just like, "No, not really." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'll go myself anyway. I am spending €3,500 for the year, so I might as well go to this talk." I went in, sat on my own. There was like a load of third years and fourth years, a load of lecturers there. I was like totally overwhelmed. I sat down, and you gave the talk. And just, you know, like literally F you attitude, you know, it was just like, you know, your character, your tone came through or whatever. But like, that was like my first ever moment when I realized, holy shit, like this isn't just like a textbook, or this isn't just like this isn't a course. Like, you know, like so many people go through college and just go through it and they come out and that's it. It's like, oh yeah, I studied this. But then I realized like that marketing itself was like this whole, it's like, I don't know, this might sound sad, but it's a lifestyle, like, you know. And it's
Paying our rent.
it's character driven, like. But it was my first wake up moment, like, and I've loved marketing ever since.
It's cool.
A talk that Jay does not remember.
You were my
Thanks,
first check.
dear, no problem.
It will probably click somewhere. I just don't like. Yeah. It'll come back to me.
I got a free donut out of it.
I was high off my tit.
I got a free donut out of it because it was like anyone who asks a question gets a free donut.
I do remember that. I was at behind a table and there was a... Yeah, I remember that.
I asked you, because I remember at the time we'd been learning about segmentation and different like target personas, whatever. So I was there like this little first year. I was 18 years of age. I was like, why don't you have any healthy donuts? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of... And Jay like cut me off straight away. He goes, because healthy people don't want donuts. He goes, healthy people, they can go somewhere healthy. People want nice fat sugary donuts and they'll come into Huckleberrys for that. End of. I was just like, thanks Mr. Woodard. And I still got my free donut out of it. Right, Hopkins, you came home. Why did you come home? Why leave an amazing job in Canada?
I came home because I was like, I wanted to be closer to family, and I'd been away for enough time, I felt, and it just felt in my gut that it was the right time to go. And I literally had like put a couple of feelers out before I came back just to see what it was like over here, because I hadn't really been in the digital marketing world in Ireland for like nearly 4 years. So I was like, how is the market? Sent messages to a few people to be like, is there jobs going, or like what's it like? Has Ireland changed? Has it kind of evolved a small bit in terms of digital? And and then like Judy Hopkins reached out to me and she was like, look, if you're coming home, we might be interested in like having you on the team. Would you like to have a chat? And then they hired me then as digital lead and then promoted me to digital director, and I managed their digital presence, their digital team, grew that, managed all their digital client work. And
so both internal and external was kind of your role,
so all of that, loved it, and like worked with really cool brands, was able to like get a lot of experience with kind of more local Cork brands again, because it had been a while since I'd done that with media manager. And then literally this year just decided to go out my own. And like I think I always thought that would be something I would do, but I never knew when. And then when lockdown hit, I think everybody got this feeling of like, just do what you want to do, and like there's never going to be a right time, clearly. So I just did it.
I actually remember you going announcing it, because I met you one time I think before here. No, I met you twice. I met you at the two Amplify Digitals.
At events, yeah.
Both at Amplify Digitals. We were both giving talks here, and then I briefly met you, and then you announced it, and I was like, go on, you good thing. Literally, I said that. I remember going, go on, you good thing, fair play.
I literally
think I DM'd you, did I, or something, and saying, well done.
So, yeah, I finished up in Hopkins on the Friday. I built my website and did all my branding that weekend and launched on the Monday morning at 5 a.m.
Class.
I got no sleep. People woke up to MGFD. I was like,
class.
hello.
I love it.
And I suppose just recently, because I would like people to find out about it, I'm sure they have as well, but Launch.
Yeah, so Launch is a new initiative that I'm partnering with Republic of Work or RDJ, excuse me, and BKK Financial, and we're basically giving 10 businesses the opportunity to start up, scale up, grow, where we're giving 6 weeks mentorship program. Once you're selected, you obviously have to apply through the form on republicofwork.com/launch, and basically, if you're selected, you'll get 6 weeks of like amazing mentorship and training with all of us, with experts in like branding, IT. Like we have a partnership with Endeavour Ireland. They're doing some enterprise bits, loads of guest speakers. Then you'll be pitching at the end of it. And if you're successful, you'll be pitching to a panel of 3 people. If you're successful, then you'll get a support package worth 25 grand, which is basically all of our services that you'll get probably for the whole year. For free.
Class. Yeah, wonderful. And are any of those positions taken already? Are you still taking people?
We're still taking applications. We're well over the amount we need.
Wow.
December 18th, is it? Cut off?
The 18th of December is the last date. Yeah.
Okay. Well, by the time this episode goes out, you'll have 2 days left, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to get some bit of a application form going.
We're definitely way over capacity, but we knew we would. But we are selective, obviously, with who we will be picking for the programme to make sure that we have it right. And we're just doing it for Cork-based businesses only now with COVID. But next year or the year after will be national.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought the primary school teacher would be helping businesses
I know.
set up
Teaching.
Yeah,
Still teaching.
fair play.
Kid.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
and I lecture in CIT as well, so I suppose I did
I get that in there
circle.
too. Yeah, yeah.
I
fair
am a
play.
lecturer in CIT, so yeah.
Unreal. Okay. If you want to head away,
I think I might.
please do. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
Yeah,
totally
it's
cool.
nice.
Cool.
You can say all the bad shit now that I'm gone.
Absolute.
We'll wait for you to actually leave.
I hate your face mask.
Just make it seem like I'm here and just add in like ad libs of every so often.
A few moments later.
Yeah. Well, Muriel's gone now, guys. So, am I saying Muriel's name right for this?
Yeah, I'm always saying that as well. I always go Muriel.
Yeah. It's
It's
either
Muriel's Wedding. You see, that's what. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Oh yeah.
I used to call her Muriel.
Muriel. Yeah.
Muriel or Muriel?
I think it's like Muriel. I think.
Probably should have asked her.
Yeah.
As
Probably.
opposed to doing
She
when
just
she
left. Yeah, so probably.
Yeah. Okay.
But for me, it's from Muriel's Wedding. It's a movie. It's based on Australia. They're Muriel. I'm like, oh no. And I met her. I was like, Muriel, and she's like, it's Muriel. I was like, oh, it's Muriel.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a hero.
Lovely girl. So look, I guess Huckleberrys. You set it up in 2016.
November 2016, 25th, we opened the doors.
Yeah. And when did you open the second one then?
Paddy's Day.
Paddy's
Paddy's Day 2018.
I remember that.
March 2018.
God.
Yeah,
it was
17th of March 2018.
It was just by McDonald's where the
That's right,
Japanese
The
place
Dawn
is now.
Square, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I suppose straight up, like, what happened? Where did it go?
So 9 shops opened up, destroyed the market. Everyone was like
9 shops.
9 shops in total over Cork, 9 donut shops, different brands.
Of course, yeah.
So completely tanked the market. Everyone's like, "Fuck donuts, we're done." Like,
Yeah.
which was fine. We thought we'd survive it, and then I thought, right, I'll open a second one to have 2 to everyone's 1. Will be the dominant brand in Cork. But the second place's rent was easy 7 to 8 times more a month than the first business. So there was that. So that, like, if I didn't open the second business, I could have stuck out because we were in the middle of a heat wave as well that summer. So from
No one wants donuts in the heat
April,
wave.
no one wants donuts in a heat wave.
Yeah.
So like it was a good 3 months of a heat wave where there was nothing being made, donuts being thrown out left, right, and
I know
centre.
you had milkshakes. Did you ever go for ice cream?
We did.
Yeah.
Didn't work. In fact, what people don't remember, and I don't know how or why it just didn't take off, was I made donut cones. So we had a donut cone.
Don't remember.
Exactly. So we actually had a 99 machine. We had a donut cone, and it was rolled in sugar, cinnamon sugar and stuff. And then you poured the ice cream into it. It was literally a cone that you could eat
right.
afterwards. Yeah, but look, some could say it's my fault with the marketing.
Sure.
Maybe, I don't know, but it just never caught on. People didn't want it. People didn't. Maybe they thought it was too heavy. Maybe they thought. But yeah, just look. This happens in business, like this, and then shit started piling up. And then I was cutting staff, and I was doing this.
So it went down quickly because when did it officially close?
Well, I was like,
because I remember
when I opened the second one.
Yeah,
we were struggling with the first one.
Okay.
So that just shows you where that was. Like, I wasn't struggling. Like, I need to close. It was, we're not making enough money. I need to ramp this up. And then let's say I had a kitty put aside for the business or whatever, and we were like, just our bank account, whatever it was. But then I started to use that for the second, and then.
Yeah, you can't be dipping like that, you know.
Well, you can. It's just you need to separate them if you want to. Like, it's just. But what happened was South Terra suffered because City got all the attention, and then the boat went down. Well, it was just bad management on my behalf.
Okay.
You know,
if you could have gone back and have done anything differently, what do you reckon?
I wouldn't have opened number 2. I'd have put everything into number 1. I'd reinvest. I would have probably built my own kitchen very early on.
You were outsourcing.
I was outsourcing the bakery to y'all, which was fine. Fresh donuts every morning. We were the only fresh donut in the city. Everything else is frozen. They still are. It's horrible. I don't go to any of them now these days still. And yeah, so like that, I would do a lot more pop-ups. They were great crack. All great crack. We got great buzz. Like, there's a time we went to Tralee one time. We announced coming to Tralee, and I swear to God, man, I was like, we were some kind of, I didn't know what it was. I was in the bookshelf in Tralee.
Yeah.
And I rocked down for 12 o'clock. I told 12:15 would be open. There was a queue of about 40 people waiting. And I sold 600 donuts in less than 50 minutes.
Crazy.
Gone, like.
Nothing like National Donut Day.
No, nothing like that. That was crazy.
That was unheard of. It was like 1,000. It was like.
About 500 people, 550 people outside the door waiting for us to open.
Crazy.
And
in that day, how many donuts did you actually push out in the end?
Because you just short of 4,000, I think it was 3,800.
It's mad. You had to ring the baker and get more, like.
To ring the baker, get like 2,000, or about 1,000 more.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's
Yeah,
mad.
yeah. He was like, "What?" I was like, "I need them." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and I suppose after Huckleberrys, then you came to Republic.
So I took about 7 weeks off. I was kind of done with everything. I was like, I'm taking time off, spend time with my family. So I took about 7 weeks off, and I was randomly met. Frank's a buddy of mine, has been the GM of Republic of Work, and DC's a friend of mine. And before Huck's closed, like I was a member here. I was a member in Republic of Work.
Oh, really?
I had 2 desks. Because for Kathy, my marketing manager at the time.
Wow.
Well, yeah, my marketing manager at the time, and then I had a desk, so we were kind of working everything out of here, and then again, bad management. I shouldn't have had a desk here. It was stupid business, but look, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think some people say that about me now, but
saying that, I'm here still. I have the connections I've made from here. You know what I mean? I got the job from being a member here. Do you know what I mean? So I got to know Frank. I got to know DC. We went on trips together to London before all that happened, before Huck's closed, and they just became good friends. And then about 7 weeks later, they threw me a text and said, "Hey, you want to grab a coffee?" And I said, "Yeah, sounds good." And they said, "Look, one of the girls is leaving. She was the marketing for Republic of Work. We'd love to offer you the position." I was like, "Yeah, sounds great. Why not?" Like, do you know what I mean? I was kind of looking, but I wasn't. I was still I had a tiny bit of money for myself after Hucks and stuff that I was kind of living off. And then I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And we'll jump into it. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was good crack.
Okay, and then I suppose like kind of marketing associate 2018 Republic. You hadn't gotten into podcasts at that point, had you?
Yes, I had a podcast in 96 FM.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a podcast back. I had a podcast back in 2015. Yeah.
What was it called?
That's a great question.
What did you talk about?
I can't remember. What was it called? First World Problems, I think it was FWP.
Jeez.
It was a shitty, like my Clodagh Haywood. She used to work in the street. She's a good buddy of mine.
Yeah.
It was just talking about first world problems, and people used to send in funny stories that happened to them and stuff.
Okay.
Like, so here I was, barely doing anything in a studio worth $100,000, like rocking it, and just that's where I learned kind of the boards and that kind of stuff, and the terminology and the editing software and stuff, and then
a lot of overwhelming stuff.
Yeah, it was fun though. As long as I didn't break it, I was okay.
Fair play.
Do you know?
Okay. So then I guess like kind of offensive charm, all that kind of stuff.
Offensive charm, combat offensive.
I suppose like I'll be honest here. Like, why did you leave Republic?
To start Fightcon.
Okay.
So I had the idea myself. My buddy Kean, my business partner Kean, had an idea of. We love MMA. We're big fans of MMA, and Kean had the idea because we want to work together. We want to do something on the side, whatever it was, and this completely consumed us. And Kean said to me one night, we were like every Saturday we used to meet for 2 hours at McDonald's because we're both parents and we didn't have time. So 11 o'clock we'd meet for 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours, have coffee and donuts and just chat. And he said to me that the idea was Comic-Con, but for fight fans. I was like, that's a great idea. So we looked into it more, and it hadn't been heard of, and there was kind of rough ideas of it done in the States, but it was done terribly and too expensive. So we looked at it, I said to Frank, I'm working on the side project, just so you know. He said, no problem, obviously they're all about that kind of supporting new ideas and stuff. And then it kind of overtook everything, consumed everything, so it was Europe's biggest fight convention. I was held in Cork City in February this year, 2020.
At the time, like there was huge, like I suppose there was a lot of like stuff written about it online. Like, it was successful.
Yeah, well,
it was
yes and no. It was
popular,
successful.
You know, like,
yeah, it kind of reminiscent of Huckleberrys. That kind of stung me, where everyone knew about it. It was a big deal, but not enough money was made. If that makes sense.
Okay.
But it was. We got worldwide coverage. ESPN covered us, like local national papers, podcasts, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We had some of the biggest fighters in the world come to Cork, like, and people listening now were like, "What? When did that happen?" It happened the February 29th of this year, 2020. Yeah. So, COVID was announced. It was harsh. Like there was about 200. I think it was 200 people didn't turn up who had tickets because of COVID. They didn't want to be in the kind of big gang. So 16 days after Fightcon happened, the entire world was locked down.
Yeah.
So yes and no, we blame that. Like,
I think you should, yeah.
Because we had enough coverage. Content was great. We had huge names. Like I just, maybe Cork was too small. Maybe that was the wrong call. We've literally ripped this apart in autopsies, and like we've just said what's wrong, what's not. And then since we've talked about more of them worldwide is going to work. If we do one again, it'll be stateside. But obviously with COVID, everything's gone tits up, so you can't do events, especially if the event is meeting, shaking hands and photographs and hugs, like, so.
Yeah.
Wait and see.
Wait and see. So what do you spend your days doing most of the time now? What keeps you busy?
So I have a big project launching in January. I'm not going to announce it here, but I have a big project launching in January,
Great.
Which I'm spending a lot of time on. I do my podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I work with, I'm a consultant to a few people. I'm a producer for some people.
So video?
Video, podcasts, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I work with Justina with the Boys Club. She's a male sex coach, so we're doing we've built a club around her teachings and stuff, which is really cool.
Right.
So just kind of keeping busy, always looking for the next big thing, always seeing what I can do and what's happening. But January should be good fun, the announcement I'm going to make.
Yeah?
It should be damn good fun. Because if it doesn't work, I'm going to go back to cinema or something.
I'll get you back into Omniplex.
Yeah, done.
Unreal. Well, look, Jay and Muriel, Muriel's gone, but thanks guys so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you
for coming on to the last episode of the A2B podcast. And thank you everyone who's listened so far. Hopefully be back next year. Unreal.
Good job, buddy.